welcome to episode 5 of the Olympics coverage. I'm Helen.
I'm Sarah. We're in very different moods right now. Quarterfinals. You know, I thought before this, I have so much to say. I'm just going to start talking. I thought before this that this would be the best round of games of the whole tournament, and I stand by that. I guess that means that we're going to go downhill from here, but like, it was epic. I love the quarterfinals because there's 4 games, and they were, well, I guess 3 out of 4 were like wild.
Well, we'll dive straight in with the results. So Sweden beat Japan 3-1 in normal time.
USA tied the Netherlands 2-2 and then won on penalties.
Canada 0-0. Brazil again went to penalties. Canada won it on penalties.
2 penalty games. Isn't that wild? 3 extra time games because Team GB and Australia played. Australia beat Team GB 4-3 in extra time. And I said that because poor Helen texted me at one point. She was like, I don't think I can talk about this I don't think I can do this on the podcast.
I don't know. Like, just to be clear, guys, this is today. It probably will come out tomorrow. So everyone will have had 24 hours to kind of come back from it. But this was literally a few hours ago. Just to give you a little debrief of my day's basically gone to shit. So it all finished. And then I was trying to work, but I just was kind of a bit shaky and not in a great place. I just went out for a drive because I had to go to the Old Trafford store to go and get some football shirts, and it really helped me. But then now I'm back because we're talking about it.
You're back in the space where you watch the games. You're back in the headspace because we're talking about the games.
I just can't be around people that have had a good day right now.
I just need to read, just to give everybody a perspective of what was going through Helen's head. Just some text messages she sent me. She goes, my stomach is churning for you. It's been a shaky morning for me. I feel like I'm coming off drugs or something. My body is really not happy.
I felt like that scene in Trainspotting where he's in the bedroom and he's like shaking and sweating profusely. I was like, oh, I can't do this. Oh, God.
I, on the other hand, am feeling in an interesting mood because I'm very pumped up still. But my adrenaline has settled to the point where now I'm kind of tired and I want to go to bed.
We're going to go straight in with USA versus Netherlands. I'm going to just set the scene, and I know most of you are listening to a women's soccer show, so you know women's football quite well, but this is obviously arguably first and second best teams in the world. World Cup final replay 2019. A team which have gone through the tournament so far quite comfortably versus a team which surprisingly and shockingly hasn't had a great start to the tournament. And it really did set the scene earlier as 2 teams walked out onto the pitch and sang the national anthems. So, Sarah, how do you feel after going through on penalties?
I feel like Stella's getting her groove back, you know? I think it's clear that the players are starting to feel that way too. I feel like we, throughout the course of the game, looked more and more like ourselves when it came to mentality. I think we started off the game well. I don't think we started badly, but we started off the game well, coming off full force, high pressure. And what I really liked to see was at the end of the game, we didn't collapse. Like, it was almost a throwback to 2019 where it was like, you know what, actually, the more pressure builds, the more comfortable this team starts to feel.
I think you make a really good point with the pressure building thing, because there are very few teams in the world, men and women's football, that utilize pressure building. Like Manchester United men are a prime example. They would live for extra time and they'd be like, this is our time. And the USA women's team, I think, are probably one of the only nations in the world where that applies. And I think your go-to, and we laughed about it earlier, your go-to as a football fan, because you've had so many years of success, is optimism. So when you go into an extra time, you can build up the pressure and go, oh my God, the pressure's building. How exciting is this? As a fan of a team of 4 teams in the world, England, Team GB, England men, Newcastle United, 31 years, I've never won a single thing. I think we've been in about probably 8 finals across my life. Never won a single final.
Helen, you're bringing everybody down right now.
I think all the England fans are nodding profusely right now. I feel like as the pressure builds, the dread and the fear and the pessimism and the negativity and the anger builds. So I'm watching that game and I know that as the game goes on and as USA are able to kind of like dictate the pace more and more, and the tempo more and more, I know the game's going more in the way of the USA, and that's not a talent thing, and that's not an ability thing. That's simply
it's a mentality thing. Like, we talk about elite sports and the difference between a lot of great athletes or good athletes versus elite athletes, or good teams versus elite great teams, is a mentality difference, and that's it. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you said, the moment Team GB maybe didn't, and we're going to get onto it, but I have to use this as an equivalent, maybe the moment Team GB didn't put that PK away, everybody on that team and everybody in Team GB supporting lands is just like, oh, here we go again. Versus the mentality of the U.S. women's national team and all of us supporters is essentially, we were getting crushed in that first overtime. Those first 15 minutes of extra time, the Netherlands had us on our back heel. They had all the opportunities. They had all of the possession. That first overtime, extra time, whatever you want to call it, ended. And I was like, if the second half is the same as the first half, we're about to lose in extra time, because we can't handle another 15 minutes of that kind of pressure from those kind of forwards. Absolutely no question about that.
And can I just also say as well, 2 of your players stepped up for penalties today that had previously missed penalties, and only USA players would step up and it just wouldn't be relevant. If the USA missed a penalty in the 75th and then just gone, get over it, move on, let's go, come on, we'll still win this. And there are very few teams that can switch their mentality back to we are winners. And it's infuriating to go back to the USA versus Netherlands game. I feel like differently to you and Chris. We're in a little chat with the 3 of us that kind of run the show. And you guys, I think Chris said, oh, that's been our best game so far. And I thought, well, that's like saying 3 2 out of 10 performances and you've done a 5 out of 10 performance. And it's I'm exaggerating, but it's like comparing, like completely opposite situations. You've had 3 really substandard games in the run up to this. And then you do this performance. I think Netherlands dominated the USA from the 30 minutes onwards that I watched, because obviously I was watching GB Australia up to that point. They had 13 shots on target. They had better recovery stats. They had less lost balls by a long way. They had less fouls. They had less cards. They had equal possession. But my motto of today, or the thing that I've come away with today, is that you can only blame yourselves. You can't come away from a game going, it's not fair. We had more shots. We had more opportunities. It's just the way the cookie crumbles.
So I have a couple things to say. First, on the mentality piece, and I know we've kind of covered it, so just to put a bow on it. Alyssa Nair spoke after the game, and she basically said, she was asked how the team is feeling right now, and she basically said, we're starting to feel like we got our identity back and like we're getting our feet under us. And I think that that's a great example of just like looking at the team's mentality throughout this tournament so far. And you're right, this was their best game of the tournament so far. Does that mean this was a 10 out of 10 on the women's national team scale? No. Does that matter? Not at all, because they did what they needed to do to get it done. They're feeling good going to the next round, and that's their mentality, and that's their winner's mentality. I think this was actually a very even game when it comes to how the Netherlands played, how the U.S. played. To me, it was a very, very back and forth game. The Netherlands got caught on the counterattack a lot. They were lucky that the U.S. wasn't able to put a couple of those away. And the U.S. got lucky on the back end, too. We're not saying that the Netherlands was lucky that they didn't lose the game in extra time, in regular time, but the Netherlands, their defense was weak. Their offense was absolutely stunning. Miedemar, I can't even say enough about how absolutely incredible she is. The Netherlands, I will also say, doesn't get enough credit for how deep they are. Like, the U.S. is a very, very deep team that I don't think anybody compares to, but the Netherlands have depth as well.
To go back to your point, just to argue your point a little bit about defense, Netherlands, they play a really high line and they use the offside trap, and today's evidence of that. And like we can disrespect VAR as much as we want, but the fact is you can't be a little bit pregnant. You can't be a little bit offside. You're either offside or you're not. It can be by a millimeter, it can be by an inch, but you're offside. Did Netherlands play the offside trap well? Hell yeah, because they literally continually caught USA offside. They knew that if USA got in, they would take those opportunities and they would put them away, just like Zambia did, just like other teams in their group did, but they know that they were playing that game. They were playing the high line game, and they were forcing USA up the pitch, and it worked because they were putting away goals.
I'm in no way saying that the Netherlands was lucky that the offsides goals weren't goals, because we can get into offsides and VAR and whatever. But yeah, they were offsides. I just mean as a whole throughout the game, they were caught in some sticky situations that very well could have gone a different way. And that's been their Achilles heel this entire tournament. That's kind of it. Like, you look at the rest of how they played, you look at their midfield, who was so strong against a really strong U.S. midfield, and you look at their forward line, who frankly dominated the U.S. back line. Like, those were two strong components of their game, and to me, the weaker side was their back line. And then you can look at the U.S. and say, oh, you disagree.
No, I don't disagree. I think that saying their back line was weak, but then in the same breath saying, but we like the way they play a high line and they're really attacking, that's part of their game. And the first thing I'm thinking as a kind of takeaway from this is, Serena Weigmann, bring this to England, play as a high line, put Lucy Bronze on that right-hand side. She'll always overlap. We'll create chances, and we'll let loads of goals in, just like the Netherlands do. But I'll take loads of goals going in if we're able to create the attacking opportunities that the likes of the Netherlands can. And I just think that that's one of the things that comes with playing a high line. But they also were very successful in drawing offside traps. They were really good at drawing that offside trap.
It is something that comes with playing a high line, but they still broke down a couple times. Like, they still literally had errors and broke down. And if you're going to look at the Netherlands and pick apart what went wrong in their game, like, those couple of breakdowns is what went wrong in their game. And then on the flip side, when you look at the U.S., I thought some really bright lights in the U.S. were Lindsey Horan, Julie Ertz, and Crystal Dunn. I can't say enough how much Julie Ertz and Crystal Dunn save our asses a couple times. Like, absolutely saved goals a few times. Lindsey Horan was a beast in the midfield. I don't know, if I was the coach, if I would take her out of any game, because she is the main reason we're holding possession when we get to hold possession. I thought Abby Delcumber had a terrible game, and it led to a lot of bad moments on the back line. Also, credit to the incredible goals. Like, every goal in this game was absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I mean, it's like you said earlier, Helen, like, you sit and watch this game in, like, distress, and I sit and watch this game and I'm like, this is a beautiful, like, competitive, back and forth, like, high stress stakes game, and I just love it.
Yeah, but because you always win them.
If we had lost, I'd be really bummed, but I would also be sitting here being like, that was a really good game. I'm annoyed and I'm really bummed, but that was an awesome game.
It is literally impossible for me to put myself into your shoes because I don't know what it feels like to win anything. So it's really difficult to flip it around. But I wonder how I'd feel if I supported the best team in the world and they'd gone through in that manner. Like, I don't know how I'd feel.
I feel great about it. I think you're really bitter. I think you're really bitter about what happened with Team GB. I think you would have seen everything different in this game if GB had won. Let's go right into Team GB versus Australia. Everybody, I'm just going to say, hold on to your seats.
I am furious. I'm gutted. I'm furious. Thank God I don't care about the Olympics as much as Euros and World Cup, because I would not be recording right now. And anecdotally, I think I want to tell a little story about when I was a little girl. So just
so everybody knows, if you haven't heard it, Helen's feeling very meta, very like, well, I don't know the word for it, but you're very sentimental right now.
Of course I am.
So go on.
Of course I am.
Tell us about when you were a little
absolutely
girl.
gutted. And in 1998, Newcastle were one of the best teams in the UK, one of the best teams in Europe. We were like winning against Barcelona and all sorts. And I remember we always used to get knocked out or kicked out, or we lose to Manchester United. I remember saying to my dad, I was only a little girl, Manchester United win everything. Every decision goes their way. They win every penalty shootout. They win every FA Cup. And you can go in and have a really equal game and they still win. Why? It's not fair. And I remember my dad saying to me, it is fair because you make your own luck. And you can miss open goals and you can give away penalties. But when you're Man United, you will make your own luck. You are serial winners. You are born winners. You don't let those little idiotic moments define you. You change the course and of time, and you turn it around. And they used to do that so much, not so much anymore, but they used to do it so much. And I think Caroline Weir missing that penalty will haunt her forever. But I think she scores that penalty every week for Manchester City, and she scores that penalty probably in a qualifier for Scotland, and she scores that penalty in almost every other situation, and it was a really poor penalty. But I think that the difference is that as GB and England and the other home nations, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland, we always let these moments define us. We still talk about Gareth Southgate missing a penalty in 1996. We let these things define us and our nation and what happens to us. And that is why we are serial losers. That is why we lose everything. That is why we have never won a major championship since 1966, because we are serial losers and we let these things, these moments, these tiny things, we let them define us. And then the other thing is this thing about us, because it's not about me and it's not about our nation. It's about those 11, 18 athletes, the 11 athletes on the pitch, the 18 athletes in the squad. It's about them as individuals and them as a team and as a unit. And I think that they are the ones that will be so disappointed. I don't need to be angry at them because it's nothing to do with me. It's not me that's lost. They will be angry at themselves because today, GB versus Australia, we were comfortable to the point of me going to make a cup of tea in the middle of the game, just literally casually walking to the kitchen going, nothing will happen in the next few minutes other than probably GB scoring a goal, because we are so comfortable. I was lying on the sofa. I was like tweeting, texting people, enjoying it. It was so easy. We were literally walking it. It was 0-0 and I was like having best time. We hit the bar twice. We forced so many saves. Shout out to Kira Walsh because she was unbelievable. And we just destroyed them in every sense. At one point I was like, have we been in our half yet? I don't really know. I think the only sad moment or the only sad thing, and I don't want to, like, you picked out names in yours and I'm going to do the same, and I feel bad because she'll be angry at herself. Demi Stokes is probably the biggest error in selection that I've ever known in women's football tournaments. And I'm not being dramatic here because there've been terrible decisions going into women's tournaments, but she started today and there are no replacements for her at left back position on the bench. I wrote a tweet saying, bring Alex Greenwood on. Oh, no, wait, we haven't got fucking Alex Greenwood because we didn't bring her for some unknown reason. This is a person that cannot get game time at Manchester City because of Alex Greenwood, and she's starting in a GB shirt.
Absolutely. She did not challenge in the air. She did not challenge against Alana Kennedy. Alana Kennedy essentially had a wide open header into the goal, and Demi Stokes didn't even jump. And to me, that's pretty unforgivable to not even challenge.
They had to rotate the team into positions they don't usually play at club level in order to bring Demi Stokes off. And it's like, you didn't have to do that. You're only having to do this because of a sloppy team selection. We have talented left backs of our choosing in our nation that we could have picked from. I'd even say Hayley Ladd at Manchester United could have played in that left back position. I wouldn't put it past her. So that's my one kind of gripe, I guess.
Mentality aside, because I totally agree, and we touched on it before, mentality, I think, is what lost Team GB this game. I agree that Demi Stokes was an absolute poor decision from the start to even put her in the squad, let alone starting in this game. What changed? What broke down? If you were to point to one thing, like tactically on the field, what broke down that all of a sudden led GB to just kind of like disintegrate in extra time? Or do you think it really was a mentality and everybody just collapsed all around?
No, there's a clear moment, and I don't think it takes a footballing genius to see what that clear moment was. And I promise you, I can only say I could share my WhatsApp screen, and the minute that I said it, as soon as they gave the penalty, I said, this is it, game over GB. We will miss this penalty because we miss penalties, like England miss penalties, or GB will miss this penalty. We miss penalties, and then our mentality, our heads will go down and we'll lose this game. I didn't think we'd quite lose the game in the way that we lost it, but I knew, and I said it, we'll lose this game. And I think it comes down to this thing it's this thing where we don't make it about you, Caroline Weir, stepping up. You as an individual, this is your gold medal. This is not about me or about everyone back at home. We make it about everyone back at home. It's about you as an athlete. Step up, do it. And if you don't do it, it's only on you. It's not, it doesn't matter to me.
I'm going to bring this into the larger picture of the Olympics. Like, Simone Biles pulled out because she felt like she had the weight of the world on her shoulders. And if that doesn't show everybody the kind of pressure that these athletes can be under, that will cause them to totally lose their heads, which is a human reaction. And that's exactly what you're talking about. Caroline Weir had the weight of nations on her and years and history on her shoulders in that one shot. And what that one shot really should just be, and the way you're going to make that shot, is if that one shot is just one shot.
In a Man City shirt, it's you're back in your Man City shirt, you're back at the Academy Stadium, doing what you do every other weekend, scoring penalties for fun. And like, you just, in that moment, naturally, as a fan of England, GB, Newcastle United, you just instantly flash through all of the moments where this has happened again and again and again. Steph Houghton, 2019 semi-final. Nikita Paris, time and time again during the World Cup in 2019. You go to the Euros 3 weeks ago where we missed that penalty and lost to Italy in the final. It just happens again and again and again. Somebody needs to break this freaking curse. But going back to the game itself, going back to the quote I said earlier in the show, we only have ourselves to blame. In the 89th minute, 2-1 up, comfortable. I think Australia had 2 shots maybe on target the whole game, and we had 21. Like, it was just, I was like 2-1. I was like going through, I was texting people like, oh my God, what time will our game be in a few, I'm that confident. And from the 40 yards out from the halfway line, they crossed the ball in, and then Lucy Bronze just did not know Sam Kerr was creeping up behind her, lost her, and then Sam Kerr was able to chest it to her feet. Like, she had time to bring it down onto her chest, bring it down onto her foot, and score a goal from inside the area. It's absolutely shambolic, embarrassing, terrible defending. But in the 89th minute, in one of the most comfortable fixtures that we've had so far, it's just we deserve it. We deserve everything that came our way after that, frankly.
To throw this out there, maybe there could be an argument here that if you're saying Team GB lost this on mentality, Australia, on the flip side, absolutely won this on mentality. To be dominated for the whole game and be able to hang on and pull it through at the last minute, that's a strong kind of mentality to have throughout your entire team in this game where you've been absolutely destroyed for frankly, for the entire match. And to be able to then see an opening, grab the momentum, and just run with it, like, that is a really, really strong mentality. And I'm going to say, for those reasons, maybe at the end of the day, whether it was Australia winning it based on that or Team GB losing it based on that, that's the way it fell. And you could argue that because of that, maybe Australia are the ones who could actually pull it through in the next round, because they're the ones who have that mentality.
I think when you look at what I was saying was, we're lucky going to this extra time. The average age of the Australia team is a lot older. They gave it everything. Their tops were like stuck to them with sweat. They were just absolutely gone. But the experience in that team, Catley, Kerr, like, you look across at Carpenter, these players are just experience.com, and they just came through for their team. And I think that you're right. With Australia, I don't think it's a mentality thing, because the expectation of Australian fans just isn't there in women's football. Like, I've got so many Australian friends that were texting me today during the game, and they're just like quite happy to be playing alongside the big boys. Like, they're just quite happy to be there.
That's very Aussie of them.
Yeah, they're just like, this is wicked, isn't it? Oh my God. Like, how good is this? And like, people, I just think there's less, because it's not their national sport, I think it's like less pressure for them to be there. So I think it's just like, they're just enjoying the moment. And you know what?
Sometimes that's when the best things happen.
When you step away from it, like, obviously the devastation of going out in the way we went out, because of, I would have loved it if we just got dominated and embarrassed by Australia, and then we're like, okay, we were rubbish, that's embarrassing. But it's in the way we went out, stepping back now and trying to kind of be level-headed about it. Australia, man, like, we dissed them so much at the start of this tournament and how bad they've been in the run-up to this tournament, and destroyed by Germany. But a 0-0 draw against the USA coming into this, then coming to this game, as you say, like clinging on and then using the counter-attack as much as they could whenever they got an opportunity, and then utilizing their world-class striker twice in extra time is just brilliant. Good for them. I think they'll get destroyed against Sweden, but like, good for them.
And good for Sam Kerr for not being, in the game as much as she has been for a majority of this game, and then being able to come up big at the end. That's also a testament to her and how strong she is mentally. Well, we've talked enough about mentality and maybe bummed a lot of people out so far. So Helen's going to nurse her broken heart for 1 minute while we go into an advertisement. And then we're going to quickly run through the other two games before we move into previews of the semifinals.
Have you checked out Total Football Analysis yet? TotalFootballAnalysis.com provides researched analysis on loads of football games, including women's football. Want to know why Miedemar scores so many goals? Do you want to explore how City have turned it around this season? Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and sign up to learn more about the beautiful game. We have a special discount for listeners of the Women's Soccer Show. At checkout, type WOSO10 to get a full year for €10. That's €40 off the yearly subscription. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and type WOSO10 at checkout.
So Sweden versus Japan, as expected. I think that you were quite shocked that Japan got that equalizer. They have it in them.
I just woke up to a 1-1 score. That's what happened. I woke up and thought I was going to open my phone and see like a 2-0 or something, and it was 1-1, and I was like, I got to get out of bed.
You're like running through the house. Your neighbors are like, shut up, lady. It's like 4 a.m. Yeah, Sweden really grabbed it in the end. I think the commentators were saying it on the USA coverage earlier. Sweden have been the team of the tournament so far.
Absolutely.
Even at 1-1.
We were saying it earlier. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. Just want to pat ourselves on the back.
Give us the credit. We've said that for a while now.
Yeah, Sweden are just a really impressive outfit with great depth. Loads of players coming through the ranks as well. And I just see them being able to go, like, comfortably walk past Australia in the next round.
Yeah, I will say I do think that they got the best draw of all of the quarterfinal matches. Japan, I think, was the weakest team of all 8 teams that were involved.
You can count. I'm so proud of you.
Look at me. Credit to Japan. I think they held up well. They showed that they are a strong team, that they are rebuilding well, and that they will be a nation to be reckoned with potentially in the 2023 World Cup. But Sweden continues to do what they've done through the tournament, and if you're looking at how everybody's played,
can I just say the least exhausted as well? It was comfortable. They were comfy in the end. They kind of walked it really towards the final 20 minutes, and they'll be going into the next game with full legs and probably their starting 11 that started today.
Not to be overlooked in a tournament like this where you're playing every third day. That's a big advantage, especially considering that whoever they're going up against, well, we know who it is, has also played extra minutes, 120 minutes versus 90, and that's a big difference.
Australia were gassing by the end of the end of the game. They were exhausted. Canada versus Brazil was what we expected it to be.
Did I not say that this was going to be an epic game? Like, this was going to be a fun game. Yeah. And that's what it was. It was so fun. Honestly, I think both of us would have been gutted no matter which team we saw go out for a lot of reasons, but to just pinpoint Marta Formiga, potentially their last Olympics. On the other side, you have Christine Sinclair. I'm going to definitely say her last Olympics, but she is unreal. you never know. She is ridiculous. So I think either way this would have fallen, we would have been gutted for the side that lost. For my personal bracket, I had Brazil going pretty far, and by that I mean, initially I had them all the way.
All the way.
So, got it on my behalf for them. But what a fun, even, hard-fought game of just really good soccer on both sides. It's really sad it had to come down to penalties. But again, like the U.S.-Netherlands game, hard-fought, even match. Bummer somebody had to go home on penalties, but wow. Credit to both of these teams and nations who have just developed their squads so much, like from 5 years ago to now. both of these squads are so much better and so strong, and they're competing with the best of them.
Yeah, really, really impressive. And sad to see Brazil go out. But as soon as I kind of got over it or walked away from it, I was like, they'll probably all still be there by the next World Cup. Marta will be playing when she's 60, man.
I will also say to a final point on both of these teams, I think that the new head coaches for both of these teams are doing amazing things for their squads in how they play and their style of play and just building within that group. And it's only going to keep improving. Like both of Pia for Brazil and Bev Priestman for Canada, just both intelligent coaches on the field, off the field with personnel, and really knowing what they're doing and where they want to take these teams. And so I'm really excited to continue watching Canada in this tournament and to see Brazil develop in the future.
So previewing over the next matches, we've got USA versus Canada.
USA versus Canada is at 4 a.m. Eastern, everybody. That's 4 a.m. Eastern for all of you who are wondering if you heard that correctly, because it is 4.
One more time from the top. 4 a.m.
Not
Eastern.
4:30. 4 a.m. Eastern.
And then randomly, the final is like at a good time for you.
Yeah, it's at like 10 Eastern or something, and Helen's going to be fast asleep at like 3 a.m. Yeah.
Safe to say I don't need to get out of bed for that one anymore.
So we've got USA versus Canada, Sweden versus Australia. Should we do USA-Canada first?
I'm really excited for this one because obviously it's a really historic fixture, and the two teams coming together are kind of renowned for having this really feisty, even in a friendly, they are feisty and bite at each other's ankles. And I think both of them have a similar mentality in that USA will stay in for a challenge. Like, I noticed it today, the ball was going out of play, Tobin Heath didn't stand a chance, but she still slid into the back of the defender in order to just be like, yeah, I'm going to leave one on you, and next time I might get the ball. It's that kind of like vibe of they're really, really going for it. And Canada, USA, I expect there to be cards. I expect there to be a bit of aggression, and it'll be a really meaty fixture.
Definitely. We've said it before on the podcast. These teams do not like each other, and it becomes a very, very physical game. Sometimes too physical. Some USA players have argued that some Canadian players are a little dirty. It'll be very physical. There will be a lot of cards. It's a good thing that all of the yellow cards just got wiped after this past round. This is not an easy walk for either of them. It's going to be a hard-fought battle, and there are a lot of bruises. Whatever team comes out of this is going to be beat up for the final.
I'm really excited about it. I'm kind of glad it landed this way because everybody loves to see USA v Canada as an outsider. Prediction, I would say they go into extra time. USA win in extra time. It's going to be 2-0 in extra time.
Wow. I'm going 2-1 USA in regulation. I don't think that this goes to extra time. But I will say, if it goes to extra time, it's going to penalties because both of these teams are exhausted. I don't see either of them having the fitness really to put one away in extra time. So, but I'm going to say 2-1 USA in regulation.
And then Sweden versus Australia. I'm less excited about Sweden versus Australia. I feel like before today I would have been like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. But then I think that this tournament has just shown Sweden just their ability. So you've got ability, energy, and mentality are the three things. Sweden have better ability. They've got going to have way more energy. And
yeah,
I
mean, I
got a better
totally agree that
mentality.
it's probably going to be towards Sweden and probably pretty comfortably. But for the sake of it, I'm going to argue for Australia, and here's why. It's hard to beat a team twice. And it's hard to beat a team twice in a row this close together. And Australia played pretty well against Sweden. Like, I think they played better against Sweden than they did against Team GB. So it's possible that Australia just lines up well against Sweden. They're coming off of a massive win where they're like, we can pull anything out. Like, if we just hold on tight, we can pull it out eventually. Who knows? Maybe their mentality, feeling good, momentum coming off of the Team GB win, combined with the fact that they match up all right against Sweden, combined with Sam Kerr, just to throw it in there. No, I had to throw it in there.
Here it is. There it is.
Let's just say I'm gonna throw my hat in the ring and say why not? I'm gonna call it Australia. I think it'll finish 3-3. I'm going Australia in penalties.
If it finishes 3-3 and goes to penalties, then I have been completely wrong. I'm going to say Sweden take it in regular time, really comfy. I'm going to say 3-0 to Sweden.
Well, we will see, everybody. Those games are on Monday, 4 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. BST for USA versus Canada, and then 7 a.m. Eastern, noon BST for Sweden versus Australia.
There it is. Let's quickly wrap up with our predictions. Miedemar is now on 10 freaking goals for this tourno.
Oh, she's stunning. 10 goals in 4 games.
She makes me feel so horny. I'm joking. Calm down.
I'm gonna clip that and put only that snippet with no context on
Send
our
it directly
socials.
to Lucy Bronze and just creep her out even more.
Miedemar's got 10. She's definitely, it looks like almost just running away with a golden boot.
There's no one even left in the tourno that's close, right?
No, I don't think so.
Sam Kerr now maybe with 3 or 4. Yeah, she's not going to score 6, is she, against Sweden?
No.
Yeah, she's pretty much got it. She's got half a toe in the golden boot, I would say, has our friend Viv.
I would agree with that. Iwabuchi put up a good fight. At the end of the day, we came out with 1, so it's a 10-1 loss to me.
Golden Glove, Lindahl is on -3.
Lindahl,
conceded 1 today.
Barbara of Brazil conceded none today because I'm not going to count penalties, but is unfortunately now out of the tournament and then most likely not in the running for the Golden Gloves. That's 0 for 2 over to me over here.
The only thing really that saved me today was on this, like, a little moment of, when I was going through our show notes. Both of us are really tight on this. I've got Sweden v Netherlands, Netherlands out. You've got Brazil v USA, Brazil are out. But could it be a Sweden-USA final? And then what?
I didn't want to say it. I really didn't want to say it. And I in our little chat, in our little WOSO chat, I was like, I don't want to say it.
You
Chris
just
was
said
like,
it.
Don't say it. I'm
You
like,
basically just said it.
I won't
You just
say
said
it. You said it. I didn't say it. I said it on the last.
Threw my microphone across the room. I guess
God,
in
please
anger.
Keep that in, Mike. You have to keep that in. Helen's like,
I'm saying it.
On one of our offsides goals today, I spilled my water. I knocked my water with my hand all the way across the room, and I was like, "Who cares? We're celebrating!" And then I got called back, and I was like, "I gotta clean up this water."
You know what I did love is like all of the celebrations, and then the one that really got me was Press, or was it Morgan? One of them scored, and then it got called offside, and she turned around, and the player who was directly behind her just went, "No," just like a little. No. And she was like, and her arms are out to the side, and then she just sort of slowly put her arms back down. I was like, oh, that's the worst moment.
Somebody make that a gift.
Yeah.
Somebody make that a gift,
please.
Like,
no, not today, Susan.
No, and then the arms
like,
are just
her
like,
arms just floated back to her sides, like so angelically. No, it was.
Oh, that's too funny.
Offsides are the worst. Offsides are even worse when VAR calls it like 10 minutes later. You know, like, you celebrated, you've slid on your knees, you've ripped your top off, you've got your nipples out, everything's going great. Oh my God. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, yeah, that's a no goal.
We're gonna have to get a live stream of Helen's games if this is how she celebrates.
Nipples are out.
You've got your top off, you've got your nipples out.
I'm kissing the badge. I'm doing it all. So what an exciting end to the quarterfinals, but kind of even more excited now after talking about especially USA v Canada going into this next round. Bring on the semi-finals.
This tournament just keeps building, and it's going to get more and more exciting. Bring on the semifinals.
Nobody wants to finish 4th. So, like, this is it now.
That's true. Although, no matter what happens, no matter what the result in these 2 games, all 4 of these teams have another match. Because we'll also see the bronze medal game, which sometimes can be feisty because they're actually fighting for the medal as opposed to the gold medal match. But we will see. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for tuning in. I've been Sarah.
I've been Helen. I feel better now.
Oh, good. That's what I'm here
later.
for. Bye.